Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Daddy Issues. Today we got on Scott Kelly. He's from the UK and he has quite the story of going through a divorce and then he has to leave the country and go back to the UK. And they have a little daughter involved. So this is a great listen, so check it out. So thank you, Scott, for jumping on the podcast and talking a little bit about your story.
No worries.
So yeah, I don't know if you want to introduce yourself and then kind of just jump in and tell us a little bit about what you've gone through or what you've been going through.
Yeah, I'm originally from England. I'm Scott Kelly. I'm 50-year old. Um, I currently now live in Sheffield again, England. But back in 2008, I met an American lady in England and in my hometown, and we dated for a while in England. Um, she moved into my house in England. We got engaged. We got married. Uh, and then in 2010, we decided to move to California.
That's a big
So
jump. Is
yeah,
that where she's from?
she's from Huntington Beach, California.
Okay. Yep.
Uh, after we got married, we decided obviously wanted to have a family, and she didn't want to have a family in England because of the healthcare system. She was scared that the system here wasn't as good as the American system, and so I sold up everything, my house, what I had for 20 years, all my furniture, left all my family and friends, and moved up sticks to Huntington Beach, California.
And did you guys have an issue getting a house or anything? Because that was really the housing crisis too in 2008.
You mean in California? Or I mean in England.
Yeah, in the US, yeah.
When we moved to California for the first 6 months, we lived with her parents.
Yep.
Uh, and then obviously the money I got from my house and her parents gave them money for when we got married. And that was a nice down payment on a house in Garden Grove, California. So we got a house pretty quickly. Actually, we were lucky. We got and
Nice.
her family's all in real estate as well. So we had like
Oh, perfect.
an inside job kind of thing.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
we saw like one house, we liked it, we put in a bid, and we got it basically straight away.
Oh, nice. Yep. Yeah, California's beautiful too. But
Yeah, it is lovely. Yeah.
yeah. Awesome.
So,
So yeah,
so
what
then,
happened next?
so then we got the house, and I found it difficult to adjust myself, being from England to American, and particularly California is different to the rest of America. I'm told.
Yep.
Uh, the climate, the people, um, not like England people. We're pretty friendly. Where I'm from,
Yep.
Sheffield, England. You can go into a bar in a restaurant and people will talk to you and acknowledge your existence, and you can quite have a good conversation with somebody at a bar, and people are not rude. I found it completely different in California because of my
Yep.
accent. People would look through me, not at me. And then when I tried to have conversation, and I mean males in a bar watching like American football or hockey or something, guys would just look at you like you were like the biggest low down piece of dirt they've ever seen in their life. They won't even
Yep.
talk. Would not talk to you.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. California's different.
yeah, that's what I figured. Uh, so it took me a while to settle and to get a job because again, I don't have a GED because we don't have GED. So the the difference between our schooling and your schooling, I'm not sure because whenever I apply for jobs, I would they would say I've got the experience, but I don't have the college background. But I did, but
Yep.
in UK college background, not US. But
Yep.
so eventually, I'm an IT engineer, so I had to take a low paid job in a call center just to get started. And
Yep.
I'm like $18 an hour
Yeah.
in
Yeah. That's
California.
tough, especially living out in California.
In
Right. Yeah.
California. Yeah, because we basically got a $505,000 mortgage. So
Yep.
$18 an hour wasn't going to cut it.
Yeah, not out there.
So straight away, you've got the money pressure. Uh, I wasn't adjusting to American way of life, especially California. I was struggling a bit. I was
And was
missing
this
my.
your first time over here,
Oh no, I went
or
on
have you been here
holidays.
before?
I went on
Okay, yeah, yeah.
holidays, but a
Gotcha,
vacation
gotcha.
completely different to living somewhere. Completely different
Yeah, yeah,
because
for sure.
you're sunbathing, you're partying, you're drinking. There's no pressure, and when you live there, it's completely different.
Yeah, yep.
So I finally got a job. What was like $24 an hour, IT. So my wages were going up, but then we had the. I didn't realize the Christian element in America. My
Yep.
ex wife was Christian, but here in the 4 years she lived here with me, it was never a problem because she didn't go to church once, not once in the 4 years, and she knew I wasn't Christian. Her family knew I wasn't Christian, but even so, we got married, got engaged, we did all the stuff. Suddenly, when I moved to California, it was laid down early days. I've now got to become a Christian,
That's strange. Yeah.
and I was like, uh, I'm 40, whatever it was, 41, 42 years old. That's not going to happen. I'm not doing that. I, I'm not going to pretend to be something I'm not.
Right. Yep.
So
Just to please them.
that created problems immediately with her family, her parents, and a family because on Sunday they would go to church as a family, and I'm sorry, but that's not me.
Yep.
Which they knew when they met me for the previous 4 years.
Of course. Yeah.
But now, as soon as I landed on the tarmac at LAX, I was going to be a completely different guy. No, I wasn't. I was going to be me. Always going to be me.
Right. Yep.
So that was another problem. Then we were lucky enough to we got pregnant. My daughter was born in 2014. Uh, that was great. We had a good period when obviously when the baby's coming, you have a good period. And after about 8 months, my daughter was about 8 months, and again we suddenly got a dark cloud over us, and I don't know where it came from. By now, I was on like $65,000 a year. My wages had got up. I was all right. My wife was on like 110 a year, so we was on like 180, 190 between us.
Yep.
Money was okay. Uh, Obviously, the Christian thing was still a problem, but I basically set my stall. I set my stall just saying that it's not going to happen because
Right.
they wanted me to go to church and get baptized in a dunk tank.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. I'm right.
Ne- ne-
I'm with you on that one.
Never going to happen. I'm afraid not.
Yeah.
No. And obviously, my English parents were like, "What what's going on, Scott? Why she changed?" And I'm like, "I have no idea. I've got no idea." So
Yeah.
when my daughter was about one, 12, 13 month old, uh, we then went to marriage counselling because we're having a few problems. But have a guess where we went? We went to a Christian marriage counsellor.
Yeah.
So have a guess what the problem was?
Right. You not being being a Christian.
Correct.
Yeah.
That was the main
Yeah.
issue in our marriage,
It's
apparently.
so weird. It's so weird because you go from 4 years of being together and who cares, and then now as soon as you're here, it's a big issue.
Big issue. Okay.
Yeah, that's weird.
So, like I say, I'm 42, 43 ish right now. And I don't mind talking about this, but I also had ED problems. Started to come on from nowhere with me.
What's
Uh,
that? What ED?
Erectile dysfunction problems.
Oh, okay. Yep, yep.
So, and apparently it's common in a man about by that age. So we had a young daughter. We weren't having sex. That was me, purely on me. I accept responsibility for that completely.
Yeah.
So she tended to drift away because the physical side wasn't there. Even though I still loved her, but I was finding the pressure on me having to perform made me even worse, kind of thing.
Right. Right.
So I sort of backed away from the physical side because I was scared that I wasn't going to perform, and I didn't. So and then suddenly a grandfather passed away who was a US vet, and one day we went to his cremation, and then when we got back, she just said I want a divorce. I don't. To
Oh
me, it was
wow.
out of not. I was out of nothing. To me, I had no idea it was
Right.
coming. I had no idea it was coming. I was in. I basically fell apart in seconds because
Yeah.
I was like, what do I do? I've like immediately all her family and friends just shunned me out immediately. It was like
Wow.
I passed away that day.
Hmm.
Like her dad was okay. I must admit, her dad was pretty cool. He tried to help me, but rest of the family. So here I am. I'm 40, whatever it was. I'm in California. I've got no friends. I've got no family now because I've been shunned. I've got a daughter who's like 18 months, 19 months old, and I'm like, what do I do? So I came back to England for 6, 7 weeks to get my head together because I was in bits, man. I was in bits.
Oh, I bet. Yeah.
I gave up everything to move to California to be with this person, and suddenly
Right.
I'm just tossed aside like a piece of garbage. That's what it felt like. So my mum said, "End of the day, Scott, what you want to do? You've got your family and friends here, or you've got your daughter. Basically you've got to make a decision." So I decided to move back to California. I was couch surfing for 2 3 weeks on people's couches from a soccer team I play for on Sundays. And then eventually managed to get a room in somebody's house, like a rent a room, and it was like
Yeah.
$900 a month for a room.
Now, what happened with the house and the divorce and all of that? Did you get anything, or you just gave it all to her?
No, no, my wife filed, obviously, and it was unreasonable differences was the reason why she filed. And
Yeah.
but she hired a oh God, what's the term for it in America?
An
Uh, we,
attorney,
no, no,
lawyer.
no. It was a guy who was supposed to be impartial to two parties.
Oh, mediation, a mediator.
We hired a mediator, yeah,
Yeah.
one lawyer between us basically. And
Yeah.
what happened was, I I said I'd move out because that's what guys do.
Yeah.
It's simple. We want the best what's for his kids. So,
Yeah.
and I didn't my daughter to see us arguing in the house and fighting. So I moved out. So she got the house, all the furniture. Uh, I basically come out. I I made a mistake, not a mistake, but I'm just gullible. When we signed up for the house, you're literally you're signing paperwork, literally this thick of paperwork when you're signing
Yeah.
for a house. Well, in that paperwork, she had slipped in what I signed. I didn't even read it. It was a power of attorney thing where the money what she put in, she would get back on a divorce immediately.
So she slipped that in there when
I
before you got or like when you guys were getting married or when you guys were getting the house. That's so
buying the house.
strange.
She put it in the house paperwork.
Wow.
I had no idea, because you literally sign maybe 70 documents when you're buying a house.
Oh, right. You're sitting there just next one, next
Yeah,
one,
and,
next one. Yeah.
and
Yeah.
that's what I did. Next one, next one.
Wow.
And then when it comes to divorce, she produced the document with my signature and date saying you signed this. So the 100 grand, what they put down, 50 her parents and 50 her, they get that back immediately.
Yeah.
And then the money what I brought, I had nothing signed. I had no paperwork. I had nothing. So I lost
Wow.
everything. I lost everything. all my money what I brought to
Yeah.
America. So I got like 40 grand because they remortgaged the house like from when we bought it to what it's worth right now, and I got like 40 grand, and
Yeah.
the mediator decided what I was earning at that time, which was literally $65,000. My child support was $1,100 a month.
And you have no place to live, and they say you need to pay $1,100 a month.
Yeah,
That is crazy.
yeah. And I said to this mediator guy, I said, how is this impartial? What end of the day, what am I going to do?
Right.
And he was like, the state doesn't care about the dad; it's only for the child. And I'm like,
Yeah.
the child's living in a beautiful 4 bedroom, 2 bathroom swimming pool house with a
Yeah.
mom her earning $110,000 a year. But no, anyway, my ex said, okay, let's just call it 700. And the lawyer was like, hey, she's doing you a favor here. And I'm like, no, not really. No, that's not.
Right. She just
It
got the
may
whole
sound like
house.
it on paper, but
Yeah.
$700 a month is a lot of money when you're only earning in California.
Right.
So
Yeah.
event
And you don't have your life together yet.
no.
After you know what I mean. After you've moved out, so it's you still need to figure that out.
So eventually, I got I managed to get we call it here in England a granny flat, but you guys, it's like a converted garage. What somebody's done, and they've turned it into a
Yeah.
1 bedroom apartment.
There's a lot of those in California.
Uh-huh. So this family
Yeah.
had done that, and they did cording it all off. So there was no contact between their family and me. It was like a separate unit, and it was $1,500 a month.
Oh my God.
Yep.
Wow. That's a lot.
Yeah. But that's the going rate right now
Wow.
in California.
Right. Right.
If you want to get an apartment,
Wow.
you're looking at $2,400.
Oh my God.
So I lived in this 1 bedroom apartment, well, 1 bedroom studio, whatever you want to call it, for like 6 years until my daughter was 8, and eventually I was paying out more money than what was coming in with the rent,
Yep.
the child support. So I was using the money I got from the house to subsidize my life. Bear in mind, my life, I went to work, I came home, that was it.
Right.
Because
Yeah.
I had nobody to go out with and socialize because I didn't have any friends. And I tried to make friends, but again, back to California again. I'm in a bar, I try and conversation with somebody. People think of you like you're some kind of space alien.
Yeah.
So my I was very low in California. I went to work, I saw my daughter 50-50. I made sure I did that. We went out, I had
Okay. I
a
was going to ask you that.
yeah, I had
Yep.
a every other weekend. I had her Friday to Sunday. Then I had her on Tuesdays and Thursdays for dinner. So I made sure.
Okay.
Plus, I was paying the child support. Plus, I was also picking her up from school, dropping her at school, and stuff like that. But eventually, it came to pass last year, about November. My employment, I was working because of COVID, killed us.
Yep.
COVID killed out. So the company was going to finish. So that means having no job. I was on a IR1 visa, which is a spouse visa. I'm not a spouse anymore, and
Right.
that runs out this. Well, it's actually run out in June, which is gone. So I had no visa, I had no job, and I'm like, my savings have gone. So I said to my ex, I have no, I've got no support. I have to go home. But bear
Right.
in mind, but my daughter's 8 now, so at
Yep.
least, even though I've lost everything, my daughter has a relationship with me now. She knows who I am. If I came home when she was 1, she wouldn't know who I am right now. She wouldn't have a clue.
Right.
So
Yep.
even though it cost me everything, and it basically did, I'm glad I did it, and I would never change it. I would not change it.
Yep. Yep.
And
And you know
now,
what's funny is because you all of that is because of your child. Like you're thinking of her, and that's pretty much it.
yeah, basically, yeah.
Yeah.
Because I hate this crap with mothers have more bond with a
Yeah.
kid. dads love their kids just as much as the mums do. So
Absolutely.
I'm back here now in England. I've got another job. I've just got another house again in England. England's where I live. My rent here. I've got a two-bedroom house in England. My rent's $450.
Isn't that crazy? Because I'm on the other side. I'm in New Hampshire, so the other side of the coast from California, and same exact thing. You can get a mortgage on a house for 1,500, 2,000. I mean, the prices are going up now, but a couple of years ago, it was. I mean, 1,500 for a garage studio is insane.
So now me and my daughter have a WhatsApp. We talk every day for like 5 minutes because the time difference is eight
Yeah.
hours. And then at weekend we call each other on the video chat on the weekend. We're still close. I mean, I'm still trying to keep that bond going, but obviously it's difficult with the time difference. Uh,
Right.
she came to see me last month for 2 weeks. Basically,
Oh, awesome.
her mom came over for 2 weeks, dropped her here. She went and did her stuff for 2 weeks, and I had her for the entire 2 weeks. My daughter, and then I will
That's pretty cool.
I will fly to California in December for her birthday and Christmas to see her, and I'm going to do that
Nice.
every year.
Yep.
So, but
Now, are you and the mom okay now, or like talking terms, or I mean, you must be somewhat good if she flew all the way to England to just to give you 2 weeks.
we're good when it comes to our child, but as in a
Yep.
personal relationship, I'm trying to think of the word for it. She wants to be friends, but I'm still not there yet.
Of course. Yep. Yep.
So yeah,
That's tough.
and we divorced in 2016, so it's been a long time. But mentally, I'm still hurt a lot by it.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
It was life changing. I
and
mean, yeah, you lost literally everything and then had to move back to your country.
I've not dated since.
Oh, wow.
No,
Yep.
I'm completely.
Now is it because you're guarded? Like you just don't want to be that vulnerable again, or what?
I just don't want to. I just honestly, the devastation of the whole thing. I just can't. I can't do it again. Can't do it.
Yeah. Right. Wow.
And it would have been so much easier if this had happened to. Well, not easier. That's a wrong word. If there were no kid involved, you
Oh,
just go.
100%.
You just go home and start again, don't you? You don't worry about it. Do you? You just go
Yep.
home. We had a marriage, it failed. I'm devastated. But because you have
Yep.
a human being what's part of you
Y-
in another country, it's absolutely devastating. Honestly, it is. It's
Yeah.
devastating. And
Yeah.
I read the dads thing, the group, some of the guys on there. I know exactly how they're feeling. It's the worst thing in the world, honestly. But for me, at least those dads, they're in the same country, so they get to see
Right.
the child at weekends. With me, when you have to go home, and I literally had to go home. I had no other choice. You know what I mean? It,
Right.
it was the last thing I had to do, like to go back to England again. But I had to
Yep.
do it. Like people were saying, "Well, why don't you just sleep in your car?" And I'm like, "Do I?"
Your visa was up anyways.
Well, but people still stay in California out of visa. People
Uh,
do
I guess
ju-
that's true.
just don't get in trouble. Then you can stay there forever. I mean, end of the
Right.
day, yeah.
Right.
But did I want to be that guy? Just sleeping in my car, trying to find another job, eating. I don't know, 99-cent store stuff. You know what I mean? No, I mean
Yeah.
I'm better than that. You know what I mean? I didn't want my daughter to see that daddy in a car. Like
Right.
what's happening here? So I basically come back here as a reset. But and I've done that. My job now, I've got a good new job. I'm an IT engineer. I'm not like I mean I'm not stupid. Like
Yep.
so now I've got a good job in England again. I've got another house again. It's just there's a huge gap where my daughter should be, and every morning
Yeah.
you feel it. Every morning you feel it at night time. Life will never be the same again for me ever.
Right. But I would say the best thing that you did was stick around for those couple years and build that relationship with her. So now you actually at least have a relationship with your daughter instead of leaving when she was 1 and then nothing. You know, she wouldn't even
Exactly.
known who you were.
But
Yeah.
that's the price Dad's paid. Dad lose everything. I mean, I
Yep.
came back here with nothing. Not. I had like $8. I literally after I pay for my flight home from California, I went back to my parents. Basically, we had like a rucksack of clothes, and that was it. I mean,
Yeah.
and I was like 48 at the time with nothing.
Yep. Damn. Well, damn. I'm sorry, man. That's definitely a rough story. I haven't heard any so far on the podcast. I haven't heard anyone who's done the country to country thing. But
But
yeah, wow.
people ask me if I had a time machine. It's that question people ask you, and you could go back. I would still do it because just for my daughter, I would still do it again.
100%.
Yeah,
100%. Yeah. Yeah.
and all dads are like
Yeah.
that. Dads will never do anything
Yep.
to jeopardize the kid because once you've had a kid, that's it. You basically fucked. You fucked.
Yeah. Right. 'Cause, I mean, but that's what dads will give up everything for your child. You know,
Yeah,
it's all about them. If there's ever a divorce, ever a split, it's like, okay, cool. We're not good anymore, but I'm going to make sure that, my kids are good. So, man,
and
it just sucks that went that way.
it is, but it's a learning curve. And as I said to my mom all the time, end of the day, we have a beautiful daughter out of it, and her. The only thing is now, obviously, we won't see him grow up as much as I do want to be, but I still be there for her. She knows.
Right.
I made sure she has a UK passport, so she's got dual right now. So
Yep.
she can, if she ever decides to come and live here with Daddy, she has that opportunity. She has the passport.
Yep. That's awesome. Awesome. Well, I really appreciate you sharing your story. Yeah, that was definitely a different one than what we've done, but thank you very much. I appreciate it.
No worries. I mean, all I can say to dads out there going through the same thing, little speckles of lights appear. Things do get better, but it takes a long time to get better. But just keep at it. Just keep going for your kids, more than anything.
Yeah. That's the thing. Eventually, you stick with it. You keep going through it. And, even though it's shitty, eventually you're going to get out of it, and
Eventually, yeah.
you'll see the light. Yeah.
Yep,
Yeah. It takes a
exactly.
while, but yeah. Awesome, man. Well, thank you so much again, Scott.
No
And,
worries.
yeah, we'll see you in the dads group.
All right, man. Thanks for the call.
So there's two sides to every story, and this is our side.